the 90s were full of epic duos. Romy and Michelle, Mulder and Scully, and my personal favorite, Doug and Skeeter. But perhaps none more juicy and poetic nor tragic than the love between West Coast rapper Tupac Shakur and the East Coast Notorious B.I.G. I'm your host, Tracy Stump, and this is the show where we take my favorite things: true crime, the 90s, and a celebrity that lived through it all. This is the 1990s. Totally Scandalous. You might know him as the biggest dork of the 90s, but the truth is, he's the biggest hip-hop head. We've got Urkel himself, Jaleel White, here to talk all things Tupac and Biggie.
Look out, dude, on the loose! Did I do that?
We're talking about Tupac and Biggie. I hear you're like a huge fan of them.
Oh, of course. I'm just a fan of hip-hop in general, and so, a lot of iconic hip-hop moments are just, they're milestones in my life.
Who do you think Urkel would have been a fan of, Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, neither. Anybody who knows the character knows that Steve Urkel was a poker fan.
You East or West? Which side are you?
I'm Midwest. I don't want any beef with anybody.
Two of the greatest, most influential MCs of all time are taken from us way too young. But why did their companionship turn to bloodshed? The story begins in 1992 when Notorious B.I.G. makes a demo tape under the alias Biggie Smalls, and he gets signed to the music label Bad Boy Entertainment, owned by none other than Sean P. Diddy Combs. You know him as P. Diddy, or Sean Puff Daddy, or just Puff Daddy, or Puff, or J-Lo's ex. So in 93, Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac meet in Los Angeles while shooting the film Poetic Justice.
Pac filmed Poetic Justice on the same lot that we did Family Matters. I remember I came out one time and he was playing basketball against one of our PAs.
Was Tupac good at basketball?
No.
He wasn't?
No.
You remember him playing against that PA and being like, ooh.
That's why I wanted in the game. That's why I wanted in the game.
Now, it is a fact that while shooting the film Poetic Justice, Tupac is blasting Big's track, Party and just over and over and over and over. Biggie's flattered. Tupac kind of becomes a mentor to him, and they become best friends forever. Yeah, well. Things go bad in 94. Biggie and Puff are recording at Quad Studios, and Tupac was dropping by to lay down a track of his own. But the moment Tupac walks into the lobby, he gets shot 5 times by 3 dudes. So the wounded Tupac drags himself up to where Biggie and Puffy are recording, tells these guys that he's been shot, and no one will even look at him. They're supposed to be friends. Then he starts thinking, hey, maybe they planned this. But before he gets ahead of himself, he asks somebody to roll him a joint. Because priorities. A few months after the shooting, Big releases a track called Who Shot Ya?, containing lyrics that seem to reference the shooting that occurred at Quad Studios.
Did I tell you that?
Tupac interprets this as a diss, but Biggie denies it, swearing the song was written way before the incident. Pac doesn't buy it, and the feud is officially born. The biggest beef in the history of hip-hop has just begun. Enter Suge Knight, the co-founder of Death Row Records.
He was a legitimate gangster from the streets. He appropriated gangster life with music. Puffy was not a gangster. Puffy learned from Andre Harrell and Clive Davis, so he just wanted to pop bottles and shine. If you actually go back and look at the history, there's nobody on Bad Boy Wax on the West Coast.
So Suge signs Tupac to Death Row Records, and they make a plan to destroy Bad Boy. And then at the Source Awards, Suge makes the beef public by dissing Puffy on stage.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Across the Bad Boy spectrum, there was not this venom coming from the East the way it was going from the West.
Tupac keeps swinging. In 96, Shakur released a diss track, Hit 'Em Up, about having an affair with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans.
You claim to be a player, but a wife. Grab your blocks when you see Tupac. Bad Boy as a staff, record label, and as a crew.
Tupac's not just throwing shade at Bad Boy, he is threatening to kill them. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the point of no return.
I remember the first time I heard Hit 'Em Up, and I just finished playing basketball with Penny Hardaway. We all had to go after we finished hooping to his car and listen to this song that had just come out. We all were in the car just banging it, listening to it. When we were done with this, Penny was just like, somebody gonna die.
The summer of 1996 came to a violent end while Tupac was attending a Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. Tupac spots a gang member, Orlando Anderson, who once robbed his bodyguard, and Pac greeted him the way anyone would greet a member of a gang, by punching him in the face. A beatdown ensues, and it's total chaos until hotel security breaks up the fight. So later that night, around 11:15, Tupac and Suge are in an intersection chatting up some honeys, and then a Cadillac pulls up and blasts 14 shots, 6 of which hit Tupac. Just 6 days after the incident, Tupac Shakur passes away at the age of 25. And the world stops to mourn the loss of this talented soul. Biggie's shocked at Tupac's passing, and because the killer's unknown, Biggie's in fear of his own life. Over the next few months, Biggie makes several attempts to squash the beef.
You know what I'm saying? He can't be the one to be like, yo, I want to squash it because he's gone. So I got to take the weight on both sides. That's why I'm out here, you know what I'm saying?
On March 9th, 1997, when leaving a Soul Train after party, Biggie was also shot. They rush him to the hospital. Doctors perform an emergency surgery, but it doesn't succeed. Biggie's pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. For Biggie's funeral, the streets overflow with thousands of fans paying tribute to his incredible life.
Biggie's blood. This is it. That's why we're here. We are here because of Biggie, and we want to show him respect.
20 years have gone by, and no one is ever formally charged for either murder. And that means there's a slew of conspiracy theories about who killed the rappers. Now, if you guys check any conspiracy theory thread, you're gonna see Orlando Anderson. So he was the guy that Tupac punched at the hotel. Maybe he shot him in retaliation. A lot of people say that Suge Knight is responsible for the murder of Tupac. Rumor has it that Tupac was about to leave Death Row Records and Suge had him killed to avoid Death Row getting a bad rap.
There's a whole theory that P. Diddy killed Biggie because he wanted the limelight.
That's insane. I won't even entertain any portion of that conspiracy.
And there's the theory that Eminem raps about in his song Kill Shot, that Puffy put a hit on Tupac.
The day you put out the hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got Pac killed,
Then there's the theory that the FBI actually killed both of them to end the whole East Coast, West Coast thing. And some people think Tupac is alive and well. Every couple of years, a new photo surfaces showing that the rapper is living it up.
Is he still alive? Is it a conspiracy?
Stop it. Come on.
I don't know. I'm asking. I gotta know.
You're a nut.
You go down that rabbit hole and you start to believe it. I saw his hologram at Coachella.
16 days after his death, Notorious B.I.G's double album, Life After Death, is released and goes on to reach #1 on the Billboard 200 and sells over 5 million copies. Tupac and Biggie actually sold more records dead than they did alive.
For anybody to continue to appreciate your work while you're living, and how much people appreciate your work when you're gone, that much more, it's an amazing honor.